Dear Patriots, before the news starts, please subscribe to our patriotic channel by clicking the subscribe button. Give us a thumbs up to this video. Don't forget to leave your opinion below in the comments section. Share the news on Facebook and Twitter so you friends see it. Thank you.
But inside I was shaken. Sarah Silverman exposes trauma she experienced after seeing American flag. Liberal comedian Sarah Silverman shared a story of a traumatic experience she went through. Seeing a waving American flag. No joke. I had a boyfriend many years ago. He was my first boyfriend who had his own house, and one day I went outside to see what he was doing, and he was hoisting an American flag up the flagpole in his front yard / and I instantly felt very weird. It didn't make sense, but I felt this feeling of like, I felt scared. Yeah, I felt scared, said Silverman. She proceeded to ask her boyfriend why he was hanging an American flag. Because I love America, he replied. I was like, right, of course. But inside I was shaken, explained Silverman. I had no idea why I was freaking out. I had this very visceral reaction, and my sister, who knows ST because she's a rabbi in Israel, explained to me. She was like, dude, nationalism is innately terrifying for Jews. Think about it, flags, marching, blind allegiance? These things tend to ring a bell for us, said Silverman. Right. Of course. Duh. It made sense, she added. Later on she explained how saying America is number one is very offensive. I fear that we are number one. Nationalism is really like an old bed buddy of racism and xenophobia, said Silverman. Chelsea handler releases video mocking Sarah Sanders' appearance, she pays for it. Chelsea handler continued her relentless assault on Sarah Huckabee Sanders' appearance. She recently made headlines for saying that Sanders wears whore lipstick. Handler is a feminist, except for when it comes to conservative women it seems. Get the Sarah Huckabee Sanders look at Fortune funny. New at Chelsea Show Friday, tweeted handler. She shared a video of a woman doing a Sarah Huckabee Sanders makeup tutorial. The point of the video was to mock Sanders' appearance. Glad to see how much of a strong feminist you are, by promoting positive body image of other females, responded one user to handler sarcastically. Handler responded. This woman deserves to be taken down. She is pure evil, she tweeted. Mike Huckabee commented on handler's insults to his daughter's appearance. I'm surprised that there were not women on the left who at least had the decency to call her out for this. I know you're probably expecting me to be very angry about it, but truthfully, when I read what she said and then I watched it, I felt sorry for handler, said Mike Huckabee. She seems like a very angry and bitter person. Look, she's almost as old as me. So this is at a point in her life, she needs to start mellowing out. And she seems to be just in a rage. The sad thing about it, she boasts about the 2 abortions she had at 16. I think in many ways she's jealous of my daughter, said Mike Huckabee. Trump egomaniac Bernie, he'll run in 2020 even if he's in a wheelchair. One factor that helped outsider businessman Donald Trump win the 2016 election was that liberal voters were so divided. Bernie Sanders and Hillary Clinton did not see how much harm they were doing to each other by relentlessly attacking each other during the primaries. Sanders did not give up even after his reasonable window of opportunity to overtake Hillary had long ended. As a result, many loyal Sanders supporters ended up deciding to vote for Trump or not vote at all instead of voting for Clinton. Donald Trump recently predicted that Sanders is so egomaniacal that he will likely run for president again in 2020, even though he will be 79 years old at the time. Trump said that Bernie would even run against him if he was in a wheelchair. Trump also surveyed the larger, uninspiring list of low-wattage, damaged goods Democrats who are likely to challenge him as an incumbent, and was not impressed. Said Donald, Who is going to run against me in 2020? Crooked Hillary? Pocahontas? Trump is already working to knock out Warren before she has a chance to gain any traction. He recently told some Navajos at a Native American event, "You were here long before any of us were here. Although we have a representative in Congress who they say was here a long time ago." They call her Pocahontas. This clearly triggered hypersensitive Liz, who whined afterward, "It is deeply unfortunate that the President of the United States cannot even make it through a ceremony honoring these heroes without having to throw out a racial slur." Do you think Trump will have an easy time defeating self-important Bernie Sanders and dim-witted fraud Liz Warren in 2020? Nikki Haley eviscerates CNN's Wolf Blitzer for insulting President Trump's Jerusalem decision. After President Trump's groundbreaking decision to recognize Jerusalem as the capital of Israel, the United States UN Ambassador Nikki Haley has faced a lot from the anti-Israel UN and mainstream media. Haley explained to CNN's Wolf Blitzer that Trump's decision was just common sense. "But it is significant, Ambassador, that you're not willing to say, the old city of Jerusalem or East Jerusalem is part of Israel. You say, that's still open to negotiation. Is that what I'm hearing?" asked Blitzer. "Wolf, why would the United States say that? When we're pushing a peace process, that's really for the Palestinians and the Israelis to decide. If we decided that, we would be picking a side," responded Haley. She also tore apart the anti-Israel UN. "And finally, I will not let this moment pass without a comment about the United Nations itself. Over many years the United Nations has outrageously been at the world's foremost centers of hostility towards Israel," said Haley. "The UN has done much more damage to the prospects for Middle East peace than to advance them. We will not be a party to that. The United States no longer stands by when Israel is unfairly attacked in the United Nations. And the United States will not be lectured to by countries that lack any credibility when it comes to treating both Israelis and Palestinians fairly," said Haley. Transgender weightlifter argues that it's demeaning to think it's unfair to beat women. New Zealand's first transgender weightlifter Laurel Hubbard crushed the competition. Born a man, now identifies as a woman. Hubbard crushed all the natural-born women in a weightlifting competition. Hubbard changed genders just 4 years ago, and won the women's silver medal championship. "I know some people believe that's the course of action I should take, but weightlifting is part of me. The draw to compete is part of me and I'm not sure that standing back is an option I could have pursued," said Hubbard in an interview. Hubbard then addressed critics who felt like the victory was unfair. "Look, I've heard that and I think it's incredibly disrespectful to the other competitors. I don't believe there is any fundamental difference between me and the other athletes, and to suggest there is slightly demeaning to them," said Hubbard. I wonder if Hubbard's competition feels the same way. "I think, as an athlete, you have to try to shut it out, because it just adds to the weight on the barbell," said Hubbard. Hubbard then mentioned how her parents inspired her. "I have a huge amount of respect for my parents and a lot of love, because they've given me so much support over the years, and I suppose the advice my dad has given me over the years is just keep on going, fall over, get back up and keep on going," said Hubbard. Do you think Hubbard's victory is unfair? Sounds like something out of a novel. Joy Reid mocks Christian beliefs about Israel. Joy Reid brought on author Frank Schaeffer to mock Christian beliefs as a reaction to Trump's decision to recognize Jerusalem as Israel's capital. That sounds like something out of a novel. Is it true that there are people who really believe that having Israel unified having Jerusalem unified under total Israeli control will bring on the end times? Asked Reid. Why yes Joy, you know I come from a fundamentalist evangelical background and I grew up in the 50s and 60s, I'm 65, And when I was a child, this was the gospel end times version of reality that my parents believe in and many other evangelicals," said Schaefer. Essentially, when you look at this, it was nothing to do with the Middle East or peace, or Palestinian rights or any of the difficulties that have represented themselves to responsible American political leaders or world leaders. This was all about what we're so familiar with Donald Trump and his nepotistic plan, throwing a little red meat to supporters and to big donors," said Schaefer. "Are you proud that President Trump has kept the promise to recognize Jerusalem? George Bush and Obama made the same promise but failed to follow through. Now that President Trump kept his promise, liberals are suddenly very against the decision.